How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today's a big milestone today. I've hit 500 subscribers. Now, in a lot of channels' eyes, that's probably not a lot of subscribers for sure, but it's growing. It's going in the right direction. So all I can say to you guys is thank you very much for your support, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. Continue to share the channel if you do like the content. I will be documenting more journeys and adventures as well as doing more projects in the future. I've been kind of tied up as of lately. As you saw on my last channel, I did get to go to the Bushcraft show, so I'm glad I got to share that with you guys. It's mainly looking around at all the stalls there, catering to those kit junkies like myself. And some of you guys have been requesting for some reviews, doing some so I suppose product reviews on some of the things that I own and some of the items that I've bought over the years, and I will be doing those, guys. I've had a few requests, a lot around cooking kits and some around the knives, especially. But I will do some reviews for you guys. One of you guys have requested an interesting one. You want to see where I store all my items, because I did show sort of a clip of that in previous videos, and I will definitely share that as well with you guys, where I store all my little goods and treasures. On that note, I did promise if I hit 500 subscribers, I will do a video showing off my entire knife collection. And I filmed this footage some time ago, so there is going to be an add-on to this video right at the end, showing some extra knives that I've accumulated. Because I'm a collector, that's as simple as that. I collect knives, I use them, I treasure them, I do all sorts, I even make them. So ultimately, for me, it's a hobby. Do I need as many knives as I have? The answer is no, absolutely not. Do I enjoy as many knives as I have? Yes, absolutely. And they come and go. I buy knives and I sell them, and so on. So it's just one of those things. It's a hobby. So if it's something I don't like or doesn't get used, I move it on. Some things I like and still don't get used, and I keep them. And some things, I just like them and I use them, and that's that. And I do make knives, and I've sold some of the ones I've made. I've done that in the past, and I will be doing some videos of knife making. I'm in the middle of a couple of projects at the moment, and I'm filming that. But as anyone would know, it takes some time to create that content. I'm just looking for a couple of items to help me do the heat treating process on the budget, so just so I can get that video out there. So until then, I'm just going to hold fire on those videos. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you very much for your support again, and subscribing to the channel, and keep your comments coming in, and keep asking and requesting certain videos. If you want to see some reviews, let me know what you want me to review, and I'll do those videos. I did say I wasn't going to do reviews, however, you guys have twisted my arm enough now. I think I'll need to, won't I? So we'll put some reviews out there just for you guys, since it's something you want to see. So hopefully you enjoy my knives. There's a mixture, they're mainly based around bushcraft, but enjoy what you see today. So I'm going to start by looking at my movie memorabilia. I have 2 on the table here. I did have 4, and I bet you can guess which ones they were. In my short that I showed, they were shown there. However, I no longer have them. I made that short some time ago. I wasn't going to put it on, but I thought, hey, I'll put it on YouTube and see who comments on it. But that was a Rambo 1 and Rambo 2 knives, and they're now illegal, okay, in the UK. The UK knife laws are ridiculous, guys. The class is illegal because they fall into the category of being over 9 inches in the blade with a point, and then has one of the following 3 features, which is serrated edges, or it could have multiple holes in the blade, or multiple points. Now, the Rambo 1 and 2 knife had serrated edges, so that makes it illegal, even though it's smaller than these 2 knives. Okay, it falls into the Zombie Act. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I don't want to go into a tangent about that. So I was lucky. The company my wife purchased them from, she purchased them in 2023 in December, for my birthday and my Christmas, because they both were in the same month. And they contacted us and recalled them and gave us our money back. So we were very lucky there. So I'm left now with Rambo 3 and Rambo 4. Now, these are movie memorabilia, guys. I will put a picture of the Rambo 1 and 2 that I did have, that I no longer have in my possession. These are movie memorabilias, and every time I show them to other knife enthusiasts, they always comment and go, "Oh, the heat treating on these steels are not good. They're brittle. They're not great." Because these ones were the Anglo-armed ones, and they're meant to be movie memorabilias, and that's it, guys. They're not meant to be used. You'll never see me in the woods with these knives here. Okay, they're not meant to be heat treated right. They're not meant to have quality super steels, and they're not meant to be razor sharp. Yes, they could do damage if I was to use them as a weapon. However, you'll never see me in the woods with these knives. These are fun. These are pure enjoyment. You know, to reminisce over the movie, fantasize of the knife. That's all these are. These are going to be displayed. These are display knives. Think of it like this. If you're a Star Wars fan with a replica lightsaber, it wouldn't be your weapon of choice to go to war with, would it? You know, a big plastic tube that lights up. No, you'd want a proper gun, wouldn't you? And it's the same for the Harry Potter fans who collects wands, you know, the Harry Potter wands, you know. You wouldn't pick one up and go, "Oh, this is rubbish because it doesn't actually make a feather float and it doesn't actually cast any spells. I'm trying to put a pigtail on my mate's backside." If it doesn't do those things, then obviously it's not a real wand. It's not actually going to do what it says to do. And that's the same with these. These are just replicas and memorabilia of a bit of fun. That's how I see these. Owning these is like a wrestling fan owning the WWE title belt. It doesn't make me a champion. Like these don't make me Rambo. Okay, I would never choose a knife like this for the woodlands and doing any survival stuff. Even though I could to an extent, but it may fail me. It may break. The whole handle ones, especially, well, the handles will probably fall off. Out of all of them, this is probably the one I would choose because it's got some meat to it and it probably would hold out. But I would have to sharpen it every 5 minutes because it probably wouldn't hold its edge. And that's fine. We didn't purchase them for use. We've purchased them for display because that's what they are. So let's take you over to the other table and show you some other knives. So I now want to show you guys my Raymiz knife collection. Firstly, guys, this is where I was saying, don't attack me for the prices, okay? It's up to me what I spend on my knives. And I have to admit, a lot of knives on this rack here, excluding the one on top here, okay, are draw queens. These are the ones that get displayed. I don't use them, okay? And the reason for that is because of an investment. When I hit to my mid to late 50s, I'm in my early 40s now. When I hit to my mid to late 50s, I will be selling some of these knives and cashing in, so to say. Okay, hence is why I don't use them, because I want them to be the best condition. The boxes of, you know, these have come with some of the boxes that I've got. I even have, let me just quickly grab that. I have a box here that is signed by Raymiz himself. Okay, so they're going to have some good value when it comes to selling these knives. So on that note, let's have a look at these knives. As I said, you know, don't tell me for how much I've spent on them. But firstly, these are displayed constantly, and they're all Raymiz branded. So I'm just going to push them out of the way and bring them in individually. Okay, we'll start with the small Moras. Now, Mora is not a valuable knife, really. It's inexpensive. You can buy Moras, but this one here, I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up. This is a Raymiz addition to the Mora 510. And I really like the 510. I have a 510 that I actually use, but this is a collector one for me, is so to say, because it's got his stamp on it. And if you can't get it anymore, then, you know, there'll be someone who would purchase the Moras with their branded stamp on there. When I do come to selling these eventually, like I say, in years to come, I'm going to be trying to sell them as a whole lot, as a job lot. Okay, so if I do see any more, I will. This one here is a Mora Companion. It's the heavy duty, so the thicker spine and the bigger handle. This is the more recent one. This is the 40th year anniversary edition. Not sure it's picking that up there. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. I have another one, but this one is the 30th year anniversary edition. So it's Woodlaw themselves. This is open for 30 years. I have two of them. Okay, so I have two of them because they were doing a deal 2 for 1, I believe. It was 2 for 20 quid or something like that many years ago. So it's probably about 10 years ago, actually. The knife that's on top here, this is not a Ray Mears knife, but I'll show it you anyway. This is my main user. I keep it there because it's easy to find out of all my collection, but this one does get used. This is my main use. This is my A. Wright & Son knife. Out of all the knives I own, and I've got some high-end knives that are probably better than this. Okay, so when I say better, it's classed as, better made, better treatment, and all the rest of it. This is my all-time favorite, the A. Wright & Son bushcraft knife. And it's a Woodlaw style knife. It hasn't got the contouring, okay, but it's a Woodlaw style knife. And this is the one you probably see me if you see me making videos and I'm out in the woods, especially when I did my ferrocerium rod demonstration. This is the one I was striking on. This one does get used, and I really look after this knife. My wife bought this for me, I'd say back in 2008, maybe even before that, maybe 2007, in fact. No, it could actually be 2008. So around 2008, she bought this for me, and it was my first proper decent bushcraft knife other than the Mora. I was using Moras most of the time, and this was my first decent Woodlaw style knife, and it's my favorite out of all of them. It's the one I like in my hand. It's the one I use the most. It's taught courses. It's been around the country. It's been to different parts of the world. This is my main user. Okay, my all-time favorite knife, the A. Wright & Son bushcraft knife. A lot of people would say, and this is back to what I was saying at the beginning, that they've bought it and never got along with it. And, some people said their grinds were unbalanced and what have not. Mine's perfect. I've got a decent grind on mine. And it's sharp as hell. I've had two others of these. I had the antler handle one and I sold it. And I also had another one just like this that I rehandled into an antler handle, and then I sold that one on. This one I'll never part with. This will be the knife that will go to my grave. Okay, so that's that one. I took this one on the carbon class, and I took my Ray Mears bushcraft knife, and I showed him to Ray, and he picked up this one, and he was like, "That's a good knife. That's the one I would choose for carving and my main bushcraft." And he approved. So that's my favorite, all-time favorite knife right there. Okay, just in case you're wondering. So I'll put that one back. Let's bring this one here because this is the Lux display, so to say. We'll start from the bottom. This one is a discontinued knife. This is a Wilkinson sword. This is pretty much the original Woodlaw, and this one was again designed by Ray Mears. Hopefully a light's picking that up. So again, it's got the Ray Mears logo there. So it's designed by Ray Mears. And if you look at this compared to my A. Wright & Son, there's not much in it. If you wanted a knife to be like the original Wilkinson sword, okay, if you wanted a knife like the original Wilkinson sword, that's it there. Okay, the A. Wright & Son. So I've already got the maple handle version of the Wilkinson sword. There is a black MacArthur version. I haven't got that. This one had a liners put in, so this one was modified. But again, good collector piece, that one. This one is the Allenwood Woodlaw. Okay, no introduction is needed there. Okay, bird's eye maple on that one. It's a thick handle, this one. Alright, let's do the stamp in there. This one is the antler knife. Again, Allenwood Woodlaw. Thinking, how did you get that? It's a secret. Now, for those who are my friends, who know me, have met me, if you know, you know. Don't say anything in the comment box. Okay, no attacking, please. So there we go. Antler handled with red liners, tapered tang. Okay. Stephen Wade Cox passed away. Bless his soul. I'm a big fan of Stephen Wade Cox's work. So this is the Ray Mears bushcraft knife. This is the oak handle version. So you can see there's the stamp there, and on the other side it says SWC. Okay, I've got the pattern to this because I purchased the kit off Stephen Wade Cox. Really good knife, really like this one. Okay, I've replicated it and I've sold it, but not with a stamp or anything, because that would just be counterfeiting. I wouldn't do that. This one's another Stephen Wade Cox. This is a real collector piece. This one costs a lot of money at a time. I've had people reaching out to me, offering me over £5,000 for this knife itself, offering me that, and I should take it, but I'm not yet because I'm going to sell the whole lot. The Wade Cox famous bushcraft knife, I had people offering me about £2,000 for that, and same for the Allen Woods. But this one specifically, this was the Woodlaw Pro, and you can see there Stephen Wade Cox, so it's got SW Cox. My one is number 58, and I believe, I may be wrong here, Stephen only made around 62 or 61, okay, around that number, and then he passed. And I purchased this the day he passed. When I found out that Wade Cox had died, I was like, wow, he's just put out these new Woodlaws, and I went, I better purchase one, because to me, that is going to have some high value. It's never been used, guys. I won't use it, because that is an investment, and that will eventually be sold with the entire collection as a bit of a retirement fund, so to say. Okay, guys, so they're now big deluxe knives. Okay, so now I brought you over to the table for the fun. Okay, I have a lot of knives, guys. I mean, and believe it or not, I had more than this at one point. Let's kind of show you around. Let me spin this around. There we go. Lots and lots of knives. So, let me bring in a few knives, and then we're going to have a look at these individually. Okay, so we'll start off with a few big knives. So here is a machete. Okay, so you can see that is a huge machete, very inexpensive machete. This was like Silverline, I think it was, believe it. I bought it from a car boot sale. It was brand new at the time. I put this little wrap. I don't really like wraps on knives. I put it on there. This is for my gardening tool. I use this in the garden. Okay, and I think it cost £7. You get a lot of steel for £7, eh? So that is that one there. So here's another machete style knife. This is My Parang, made by a company called My Parang, and it's made in Bidor in Malaysia. So it's a Malaysian parang, this one. This is the one that I took to the Amazon jungle with my, was it about a year ago? Maybe 2 years? No, it's about a year ago, just a little over a year. And this is the one I took to the Amazon jungle, and there's a video in my channel if you want to watch that. This is what I was doing to blazing the trail. This is the one I was using to get to the Heart of Palm. This is the one I was using for all my main tasks in the jungle. This is the most used knife I was using there. So this is the one. This is my parang. I really like this parang. My favorite machete. You can see it's been well used. Could do with cleaning it a bit, but to be honest, I love the state it's in. It gives it some real, a real knife feel to it. It reminds me of that Rambo 4 knife, so to say. Okay, but it's the real version. Okay, I really like this knife in the jungle. Anytime I would go to a rainforest or jungle, this would be the thing that comes with me. Okay, so I'm going to start over in the far corner there, and I'm going to make my way through these knives. I'm going to try be as consistent here, guys, but let's bring in this knife first. Okay, so this one here is my Jack Law knife made by Sandy Jack. This was purchased several years ago. I think it was around 2012. This does get used. This is a used knife. It's a 3mm version of his Jack Law. It's one of his early examples. I purchased this at the knife show in Bristol, and it was the first one he ever did. I remember correctly, he had a stand next to a guy called Lee. I believe Lee passed away But this was a knife he had there, and I said to him, look, what can I get for my money? And he went, choose one. And I chose this one. And it's a maple handle version. I've got the video saved in my playlist of him making this knife. So thank you, Sandy. And as in return, I gave Sandy my very first knife that I made from an old file, which is a Woodlaw style knife. Do I regret giving it him? Part of me does, because it's the first knife I made. But at the same time, it's gone to good hands, you know. Would I like to have it back? I don't know. I've got plenty of knives, haven't I? So, but this knife is a firm favourite. So with this and my A. Wright and Son knife, they're the two I chop and change the most. So this does get used, and it also gets well looked after. You can see it's very polished because I'm constantly stropping my knives, just sitting there watching telly. But I also use them when I take them to wood. So you might see this one in videos. I find this is my excursion knife. If I'm doing a trip, like a hiking trip or a canoe trip, this is the one that I've got. Okay, let's go over to the corner then, show you a knife. This one here. This was made by myself many years ago. I wanted a Ray Mears knife at the time, and this is before I had any of the Ray Mears knives. And you can see I tried to etch the Ray Mears logo. I wanted to do my own version of it, but it was meant to be like a Woodlaw. Okay, and this is the one I made. Okay, so you can see there, it's got the bird's eye maple handle. I could have done a better job. Now when I make knives, I make them way better than this. Okay, so much better. I have some knives that look a bit messy that I wouldn't sell that I've made because there's just some imperfections that I'm not happy with. So a lot of the ones that I've made that are really good have moved on to an owner. Okay, but I'm going to do some videos of cloning knives. I might clone my favorite knives. But this one here was just an example. It's heat treated really well. It's been Rockwell tested as well, and it's 58 to 59 on the Rockwell. It's 01 tool steel. Fantastic little Woodlaw knife. I showed that to Ray Mears, and he was like, "Yeah, it's really good effort on that one." But my skills and abilities have upped in the world. I also made a knife for Ed Stafford, and I'll show you an example of what I made him in a little moment. Let's move down a bit. Now, this is quite a recent purchase, this one here. This is a knife. I hate loving it. I got this about a year and a half ago. This is the BPS B1, and this is the knife I took to Sweden. It's so annoying because to look at it, I mean, it's a knockoff of the Condor Bushlaw, but a lot of people says it's very similar to a Woodlaw. Okay, now let me just grab the Woodlaw, or a Woodlaw knife. I'm just going to put that there. So bear us 2 seconds, guys. In fact, I'll grab the Stephen Wade Cox version because you're going to see there's a lot of differences. So this is the Stephen Wade Cox bushcraft knife, which is close, resembled to Woodlaw. I've got the Allen Wood as well. When you look at them both, they're not far off really, but there is some differences. If you look at the profile of the blade on this one here, it's a little bit wider on the back on the Bushlaw, the BPS B1, or even the Condor Bushlaw. And the handles are different. Okay, you see they've got more of a point here, and it's got a little point there. When you look at the handle on this one, it hasn't got that really. It's more rounded off. Okay, it's got contouring, bottle-shaped contouring on the Woodlaw style knives, and this one doesn't. Okay, the handle on the BPS is larger. Okay, and the blade's about the same size, but this is much thicker. Okay, so if I was to summarize the Condor Bushlaw or even the BPS B1, and if you was to ask me, is it like the Woodlaw, I'd say no, but it's not far off. It's a clumsy version of the Woodlaw. Okay, that's how I'd put this knife. It's a clumsy version of Woodlaw. It's made from, I believe, 1066 steel. Okay, which is a softer carbon steel, but a lot of people have complained about it and stuff. I find it's been great. It's held its edge. Every time I've taken it out, and I've used and abused this knife. When I was in Sweden, I only sharpened it once, and I was there for the week. So, to be honest, it's fantastic. Now, they get away with making these really cheaply. I think I paid about £35 for this, which is a very good price for a knife at this state, you know, the way it is. 3mm thick, and you get a nice sheath with it as well. Even though it looks clumsy, in use, okay, when you're using this knife in all the different grips, the handle reminds me of my A-Right and Son because it hasn't got that contouring. In use, it's fantastic. It's a great knife. It's not clumsy at all when you're using it. It's more than capable of doing all your needs for bushcrafts. I wish they brought this out many years ago because I probably wouldn't have to go down this journey of buying all these knives, he says. So on that note, this BPSB1 has become a main user. It's almost replacing some of my other main users. It's finding its way coming out with me. So you might see this in a lot of videos as well. I really like it. It's reminds me of the old Alan Wood knives he used to do. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Get yourself one of these guys while the prices at the are. I'm thinking about getting the stainless steel version of this. Let's have a look at another knife here. This one here is another one I made. Again, Woodlaw style knife. You can tell I'm a big fan of that shape. Really big grind on this one because the steel is thick as it comes. Okay, I think it's like 6mm thick because I made it from an old file, and I made this solely with hand tools only. Even the holes that I've put in to the blade was done with a drill that was done by hand, one of those little windy drills. I wanted to make a knife purely by hand with no power tools whatsoever, and that's what I turned out from an old file. Okay, just shows you what you can do, and I've heat treated it and everything. I did get it tested, and yeah, it's brilliant. It's 59 on the Rockwell, so really sharp knife. I like making file knives, just for fun. I've sold a few file knives. This one is one of my early ones. Again, you can see the tempering, really thick blade. This one I tried to do contouring at a time. I wasn't really experienced at knife making when I made this one. Okay, I think it was the second one I made. Here's another main user. You've seen this in the video of me modifying it. This is the one, if I'm teaching bushcraft courses, this is the one I would generally take with me, but now it's become my little winter knife. Martini. Okay, this is my lumberjack. Martini is a fantastic brand. They're the upgrade from the Mora, if you ask me. You're going to get a nice knife with just a little bit extra money, and you're going to get a nice wooden handle. These are Puukos. I really like a Puuko. I modified this one. Okay. And I bought this one in Finland. I bought it when I went to Lapland, and I modified it to fit my hands and my needs. So that's my Puuko, my favorite Puuko of all of them. Okay. Here is another file knife. These are the knives. I started making them along with the knives on the right hand side here. Let me just show you some here. I've got a bunch of knife blanks there, okay, that I started making probably over 10 years ago, and they're unfinished business is what I call them. They're my unfinished business knife. This one I managed to finish it off. I made it years ago, a long time ago. Very sharp. You know, that's a good bevel I put on that knife. Again, it's made from an old file. The handle shape is questionable, but I like it. You know, it fits nicely. It's a small knife. It's got that Puuko feel to it, but it's full tank. Really thick beast of a spine there. And basically, all I did, I put a handle on it, and I was experimenting with handle attachments. So this is not glued on. Okay, I've not glued it on like I do with a lot of my other knives. I took some pins and I've peened them on because I wanted to try out some peening and see how that fits, and it fits solid. It's fantastic. So I'm experimenting at the moment with different types of grinds, different types of handle fittings, and that's what I'm going to do with these blanks over here on the right hand side here. I'm going to experiment with different handle fixtures that don't involve gluing. It's not to say I won't glue it anymore, but if I want to, you know, turn out some file knives, I don't see the point in putting all that effort into something that's, you know, made from cheap material. This one here, I had something similar to this, and then I ended up selling it. And then I got this one from Anglo Arms. It's a cheap knife. It's £12 to purchase, and you get a lot of knife for £12. It's a stainless steel. I think it's like 440 steel. It holds an edge well. It sharpens well. It's got a concave grind there, and it's got a secondary bevel there. So, and it is sharp. It's not something I would use in bushcraft because when you hold it in a forehand grip, it's comfortable. The moment you start turning it, it's very uncomfortable. Okay, this is more of a hunting knife. I have been playing around with it. You get a lot of knife for that money. How well the edge holds, well, it's a recent purchase. I just purchased it out of curiosity. Again, it's similar to a knife I once owned that I sold. And so far, so good. I use this one to light my house fire with. Okay, so it doesn't really come out with me. I'm going to pick up this knife in the corner here before I move on to the little ones over here. This one here is another Woodlaw. You can see there it's got Zebrano wood. It's made from 80CRV2 steel. Okay, the pins are wooden pins. Very good knife. I mean, look at that. Beautiful. And let me tell you how I acquired this knife. Somebody reached out to me on Facebook. He was a knife maker, PG Knives. I think he's a Polish fella, and he's a knife maker, very, very talented knife maker. He's giving me green liners and everything. And he was asking me about my Stephen Wadecock's knives, my bushcraft knife specifically, the one with the oak handle, and he wanted me to measure it and all the rest of it. And I had the pattern for it, so I said to him, "Look, I've got the pattern for that knife. I'll send it to you." And in return, he just sent me this. Now, this is not made from that pattern. He just made knives, and he gave it for me for free. He went, "Look, I'm going to give you the knife. I've made the sheath for it, a lovely sheath for it now." But he gave me the knife. He went, "There, look, I'm going to give you that knife for doing that for me," because he wanted to make the knife for his brother. And he's not going to be selling the Wadecock's pattern at all in his collection knives, because he does a lot of tactical style knives. But he wanted to make a Woodlaw for his brother, and he wanted the closest thing he could get. And because I managed to help him out, he just gave me that, and that's a free knife. And I've used it. I've taken it out on several occasions. Brilliant knife. Again, it is gonna be a user. It is one of my main users as well. It's up there with the Jacklaw. Okay, so fantastic knife. Let's have a look at some of these smaller ones here that I've got down in the corner there. These ones I've made myself. This was a saw blade knife, and this is similar to the knife I made for Ed Stafford. I made it from a thicker stock of 01 tool steel, but this one's made from saw, and it was complementing my file knife that's just there. Is it that one there? Okay, it was a complement to that one as well. It's meant to be a little neck knife. Quite a beefy handle for such a thin blade, but it's very comfortable, and it's just a little whittler, with a little whittling knife. I find I turn to this one when I'm doing leather work quite often. These two was again experimental saw blades, some small knives. These haven't got sheaths. I just put a little sleeve on them. This is for cooking. Okay, so I've made a thinner handle for this one. I experiment with handle thicknesses, shapes and stuff, and I use files and I use saw blades to experiment with. When I come to making a good knife, I make it from good steel, a good material, but I put my practice in junk steel. I say junk steel, just scrap steel and scrap wood and things like that. And I made this little bevel there, very, very sharp. I was experimenting putting a little stamp on there, putting a little maker's mark on there. Can't really see that. It's like an SR, which is my initials. I use this one for cooking. It's a small cooking knife. Okay, that's all that gets used for when I'm out and about. Same for this one. This one was a more of a pointier blade. Okay, again, there's my little stamp there. Nice balance handle on that one. Probably a better example. Again, little cooker. The knife here, this one in the corner, is a knife. Again, it annoys me, this one. I got it on Temu, which is a website that's things come from China. They don't, well, I think they still do knives on Temu, but they don't sell them to the UK anymore. And I got it about a year ago from Temu, probably less than a year ago actually. And it's annoying. It comes with a really crappy sheath, but it's a stainless steel knife. It's bloody sharp. Slices really well, good for kitchen knife, and it's probably going to be a small little paring knife now. I paid £2.20. No, it's fair to say, guys, it's not bad, is it? £2.20 for this little thing. It doesn't matter if it holds its edge or whatever. £2.20. That's not bad, is it? Small. I mean, I wouldn't use this in the woodlands doing carving. Wood is not really good for woodwork, but slices meat amazingly. Yeah, I like it. It annoys me because it's £2.20, and that's what you can sell, and you got a lot of knife for that money.